Bullets may fly round, but I lay down. I feel safe and sound on solid ground. How can I lay down, but I lay down. I feel safe and sound on solid ground. I feel safe and sound.
Welcome to AI Insiders, your hub for the latest in artificial intelligence. Dive in for news, insights, and tech trends. Enjoying the show? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated.
Guess who's dog sitting? Which celeb does he remind you of?
Oh, he's totally one of the Chris's. You know, the one with the friendly eyes and that megawatt smile.
Nailed it. Obviously superhero material.
For sure. And his superpower? Puppy dog eyes.
He's begging me for walkies. Where's good around here?
I've got just the thing. Check out these awesome dog parks nearby.
AI, right? It's everywhere you turn these days.
Seriously, it's like everyone's suddenly an AI expert.
And don't get me wrong, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot to wrap your head around, you know?
Totally. Trying to keep up with all the new developments feels like a full-time job in itself.
Well, good news is you've come to the right place. Because today we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into Microsoft's latest AI moves.
They've been busy, that's for sure.
To put it mildly, specifically we're talking about Copilot. And we've got all the goods, their blog posts, tech articles, you name it.
So think of this as your crash course on what's new with Copilot.
What it means for, well, it's everyone. And maybe, just maybe, we'll tackle some of those bigger questions about where AI is taking us.
And one of the biggies that Microsoft keeps circling back to is this idea of AI as more than just a tool.
Yeah, I noticed that too. They're really pushing this whole companion thing.
An AI companion for everyone, to use their exact words.
I have to admit, when I first saw that, I thought, okay, that's a bit much, Microsoft.
It's a bold statement, that's for sure. They're not just talking about making our lives easier or more efficient.
Right.
They're saying Copilot will offer encouragement, teach us new things, even, and I'm not making this up, help us keep our composure in stressful situations.
Wait, are they serious? Like, if my internet goes down, Copilot's gonna talk me off the ledge?
Pretty much. They actually gave the example of, like, a parent trying to handle a meltdown on an airplane. Copilot steps in, dispenses some virtual wisdom, helps everyone keep it together.
Okay, I have to admit, that's kind of amazing. Also a little creepy. Like, are we really at the point where we're looking at algorithms for emotional support?
It's a whole new frontier, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're used to technology being transactional. You ask it to do something, it does it. But this is different.
Yeah.
This is about having a constant AI presence in our lives.
It definitely challenges our definition of what technology is and what it's supposed to do for us. But before we spiral down that rabbit hole, let's back up. What's actually new here? What has Microsoft actually changed with Copilot?
So first up, you can now have a full-on conversation with Copilot.
Wait, really?
They've rolled out customizable voice options, so it's not just typing commands anymore. You can actually talk to it.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, I talk to my devices now, but it's usually just yelling at my smart speaker to play the right song.
This is different. It's about making the interaction more natural, more engaging, like you're talking to, well, a Copilot.
And speaking of understanding, they've also introduced this Copilot Daily, which sounds like it was made for someone like me who's drowning in information overload. Tell me more about that.
So, imagine this every morning. Copilot gives you a personalized rundown of the news and weather, curated just for you and read aloud in. You guessed it. It's new, friendly voice.
It's like having a personal news assistant who actually gets me, which honestly sounds like a dream come true. But wait, there's more, isn't there? They also announced this other thing that sounds completely bonkers.
Oh, yes. Copilot Vision. Now, this is where things start to get really interesting.
You said it. So imagine you're online trying to, let's say, redecorate your living room, furniture shopping, right?
A recipe for disaster, am I right?
For me, 100%. But with Copilot Vision, you can actually show Copilot the furniture you're thinking about.
It analyzes the images
in real time. And it can do things like suggest color palettes?
Yep. It can even tell you if that armchair you've been eyeing will actually fit through your doorway.
No more measuring tape mishaps. This is amazing. It's like having an interior designer on call 24/7.
And it gets even wilder. It's not just for online shopping. They're integrating Copilot Vision directly into the Microsoft Edge browser.
Hey, Copilot. I'm looking for a place to stay.
Let's take a look. What do you think of the locked house?
It's a bit pricey.
You are a bit bougie, aren't you?
I am not. I'm just looking for something nice. A little color on the walls, you know?
This one definitely has some color.
Wow. It's giving me a headache.
We don't want that. Wait, this one looks perfect. Minimal, modern, you.
You're right. I love it. We're booking it.
So theoretically, I could be looking at anything, anywhere. Like, I don't know, a complicated dish on a menu.
Or that IKEA assembly instruction manual that's giving you grief.
Exactly. And I could just, summon Copilot?
Pretty much. You type in at Copilot, show it what you're looking at, and boom, you've got an AI assistant ready to help you decipher, troubleshoot, whatever you need.
I mean, part of me is like, sign me up. But the other part of me is a little, I don't know, freaked out. Is that too strong a word?
Not at all. It's a big leap, no question.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, where do we draw the line?
Exactly. Like, how much of our lives do we want to hand over to algorithms, especially when you're talking about something as personal as, like, decorating your house or navigating a tricky social situation?
And that's not even touching the whole privacy thing, which is a whole other can of worms, right? I mean, we're talking about AI that can potentially see what we see, hear what we hear. It's a lot.
Yes, a lot. And I'm glad you brought up privacy, because that was one of my first thoughts when I started reading about Copilot Vision. But to their credit, Microsoft seems to be taking that pretty seriously.
They do seem to be aware of the concerns.
They've said, for example, that Copilot Vision is opt-in. You choose when to use it.
Which is huge. You're in control of your data.
And they've also made it clear that the data from Copilot Vision sessions isn't being stored or used for training.
So it's not like every time you show Copilot that questionable art piece you're thinking of buying, it's being analyzed and added to some massive database.
Okay, good to know. That definitely makes me feel a little bit better. What about the whole, showing it things in the real world thing? Are there any rules around that?
They've said they're putting some limitations on what types of websites Copilot Vision can interact with. Like, they mentioned wanting to avoid issues with paywalled content
Makes sense.
and other sensitive areas online.
So they are thinking about the potential for misuse, which is reassuring.
It seems like it. They keep emphasizing that this is a preview, you know?
Yeah, like they're really looking for feedback from users to make sure they get this right.
Right, they even have that Copilot Labs initiative, which is all about testing out these new features and getting feedback.
So it's like a giant public beta test, in a way.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's smart, because the reality is this technology is evolving so quickly.
It's true.
And they don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
And they're acknowledging that, which is important.
It's like we're trying to figure out this whole AI thing in real time, isn't it?
Right. It's like we're building the plane while we're flying it.
And the stakes are kind of high, to say the least. So where do we even begin to make sense of it all? If this AI companion thing really is the future, what does that actually look like? Like, for us in our everyday lives?
That's the million-dollar question, and I don't think anyone has a definitive answer yet. But it's a question we need to be asking ourselves.
Because if we're not careful,
we might not like the answer.
Exactly. And I keep coming back to this idea that technology reflects who we are, you know?
100%.
So if we're creating AI that's not just functional, but also emotionally intelligent, supportive, does that mean are we trying to outsource our emotional needs to algorithms?
It's a real possibility. And it's a slippery slope.
Because on the one hand, having an AI that can offer encouragement or help us navigate a tough conversation, that sounds incredibly helpful.
Absolutely. The potential benefits here are huge.
But on the other hand, if we become too reliant on AI for those things, what happens to our relationships with other humans?
Right. Like, are we going to forget how to have those difficult conversations, how to offer support to someone who's struggling?
And even if the AI is great at it, does it even matter if it's not coming from a real empathetic human being?
Big questions. And like we said earlier, there are no easy answers.
But the fact that we're even having these conversations, I think, is a good sign. It means we're at least thinking critically about the future we're creating.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's the takeaway here. It's not about rejecting AI outright.
Or panicking about robots taking over the world.
Although that's always a possibility, right?
It's true. But seriously, it's about being aware of the potential pitfalls, the ethical implications.
And then being thoughtful about how we integrate AI into our lives. Because it is happening, whether we like it or not.
It is, and hey, maybe it'll all work out great.
Maybe.
But either way, we'll be here to break it all down for you. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.
Bullets may fly round, but I lay down. I feel safe and sound on solid ground. How can I lay down, but I lay down. I feel safe and sound on solid.
Thanks for joining us on AI Insiders. If you enjoyed today's chat, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Stay curious and keep exploring AI with us. How does that sound?